Hey guys, this is Mark Yo here and welcome back to my channel. The arrival of the Honor X7 is probably a good news for you die-hard Honor fans out there because it comes preloaded with Google services out of the box. Yay! It's been a long time since I've used an Honor phone. In Malaysia, the X7 is selling for just 699 ringgit, which I feel is really value for money for some of the features it provides. Of course, there are things that I think they can do better. So, let's get started. Firstly, it's definitely the back cover design which is unique. Look at the camera design, which is similar to Honor 50 and Huawei P50 Pro design, which I'm starting to appreciate over the past 2 weeks. The back is actually plastic, so does the frame, but the finishing is very nice to feel and hold. And it's actually solid for sure. I can bet that if someone sees this phone from the back, it's definitely hard to guess that this is a less than 700 ringgit phone. This phone weighs 198 grams with 8.62mm of thickness. So there are 3 things that I want to point out since we are looking at the frame. Firstly, it's actually the SIM slot. It can only house 2 SIM cards or 1 SIM card and 1 microSD card at the same time only. Secondly, it's the side fingerprint scanner, which is very fast to unlock the phone. And lastly is the existence of the 3.5mm headphone jack. Yep, the jack is still alive. Yay! At the front, there's a huge 6.74-inch IPS LCD display with 720p resolution. To be honest, for a 720p resolution, I personally think that it looks okay. And the viewing angles also not so bad. And the bezel sizes surrounding the screen also acceptable to me at this 699 price point. One thing I want to point out is that the screen has TUV Rylan low blue light certification, which actually blocks harmful blue lights. So it has some degree of protection for your eyes, especially at low lighting room. So I've used this phone several times in my room, fully dark, before I go to bed. And it didn't really strain my eye. My only complaint is that I actually prefer the punch hole selfie camera rather than this teardrop notch. Another thing to point out is that this phone actually supports 90Hz of refresh rate, which makes the overall scrolling experience more pleasant. Next one is performance. This phone is actually running on the latest Snapdragon 680 processor, which is actually quite common already for entry-level phone in 2022. Normal task is actually very smooth, and you don't have to worry about hiccups whatsoever. And the phone software is actually running on the Magic UI 4.2, which is still based on Android 11, just in case you guys want to know. As for gaming, this Snapdragon 680 can handle light gaming no issue, but for heavy gaming, you have to lower your expectation. Of course, you can play PUBG, Genshin Impact for sure, but at lower setting for graphic and frame rate. For example, this PUBG, okay, you can only support smooth high, balance medium, and that's all. So it's actually quite common for Snapdragon 680 phone. Let's go back to the beautiful camera design. Quad camera setup, 48 megapixel mid shooter, 5 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro, and 2 megapixel for your bokeh shot. So under bright lighting, the main camera actually turns out to be nice on photo, but when you switch to ultra wide, photo sometimes can be a bit dim. And also there's no stabilization for photos and video shot, so your hands have to be very still as possible. As for video recording, it can go up to 1080p at 30 frames per second only. So do check out the samples after this. The Honor X7 has a 5000 mAh battery. As for battery life, this phone can give you around 8 to 9 hours of screen on time with almost 2 days of battery. No issues. You can go and on and on and on using this phone. And the Honor X7 can support 22.5 watt of supercharging, which will top up the battery around 2 hours. Lastly is the speaker. This phone only has one single bottom firing speaker. Not the best one out there, but it can be very loud. Let's hear it. So there you go guys, my full review of the latest budget phone, Honor X7. Honestly, I really love the back cover design. And if you want a smartphone with decent performance and great battery life, but don't want to break your bank, the Honor X7 is a good option. Do let me know if you have any question. Until then, take care, stay safe, and peace guys.